You guys asked for it. These are every Fortnite role explained for duos and trios, as well as how you know based on your playstyle which one you fit it. Let's go! Join my Discord guys, link in description. Since duos is the main game mode at the moment, let's discuss those roles first. Every single duo that plays the game is going to have an IGL. Now IGL is an in-game leader. This is going to play that's going to be making all of the different decisions in the game, such as the rotations, who they're pushing, when they're rotating, and in really stacked lobbies, where they're getting their surge from. The IGL normally has worse mechanics than the other player, however has a massive brain, and normally quite a bit of experience in competitive matches. An example of a great IGL is Seti. Seti plays with Cammy, and Seti is one of the best IGLs in the world, as he's able to consistently get Cammy and Seti to endgame every single game. He's played the game for so long that his game sense is just above everyone else's. Normally the better experience an IGL has, the better they are, because if something happens in game, they will normally have experienced it already. Therefore nothing takes them by surprise. To be a good IGL, you have to be calm, have good planning abilities, have quick decision making skills, and also be understanding. The IGL is what you might call a boss, and they also need to be able to take responsibility for their actions. If they made a bad call, then they need to say, I made a bad call, my bad. An IGL that can't take responsibility for their actions is a bad IGL, and is an IGL that will not do well in the future. A final point on the IGL is normally the tarper in duos. The next and the only other role in duos is the Fragger. The Fragger is a player that's sole goal is to make it to endgame and get refresh eliminations for the IGL to tarp with. The Fragger has to have better mechanics than the IGL, and also has to have pretty good game sense themselves, as they have to try and find the refreshes through tarps and through endgames. They have to be a good listener, as they can listen to the IGL and follow them on rotations, but they also have to have good game sense themselves, because if the IGL dies mid-game, then they're going to have to make it to endgame themselves. The Fragger normally ends up with most of the eliminations, as they're the player that are fighting while the IGL is tarping. The IGL's main aim is to get the players to zone, and the Fragger's main aim is to get the materials that helps the IGL get them to zone. Going to our Seti example earlier, Seti's Fragger is Cammy. Cammy is a good Fragger as he stays pretty close to Seti and is able to find a lot of refresh eliminations for them. That is how they're making it so far into these endgames. Remember, if you're enjoying today's video so far, make sure you use code JKCs, as that is the #1 way to support my channel. Thank you, and let's get right back into it. Trios is largely similar in the most part, where there is definitely an IGL in the trio, and there is definitely at least one Fragger in the trio. However, in trios you can either have 2 Fraggers, or you can have a Fragger and a support player. The support player normally carries most heals, triple heals. 3 slots are occupied by heals, and they are normally the player that in fights takes fights from a little bit further away and really just tries to get beams on the opponents. As the name implies, the support player supports the people fighting. The IGL and Fragger will be in the fight, and the supporter will be spraying from a distance of 30 meters away from them. This is going to make it harder for the other team to fight them, as they're getting sprayed out from quite far away. You guys know how it is. When you're getting third partied, it is hard to focus on the fight you're currently in. So how do you know what player you are? Well, let me tell you, if you think you have the best game sense in the world and you are just super smart with the game, you don't have the best mechanics, but you think that sometimes you win fights even when you shouldn't because you have such game sense, and you understand the zones pretty well, I'd suggest you be an IGL. However, if you feel like your mechanics are your main selling point, and the mechanics are the strongest part of your gameplay, I suggest you be a Fragger. If you feel like your long range aim is crazy good, and you carry a lot of heals anyway, maybe consider being a support player in trios. So you've got your duo roles, but what about your duo chemistry? That is an important thing to improve, and you should watch the video on screen right now if you want to improve your chemistry. It's a banger, trust me guys, go watch it.